Today, we cover a very common question about life insurance. How much should I have? I will also give you some very valuable advice when choosing how much life insurance to have. Now, why do we need life insurance? Mainly, it's to cover final expenses and also replace our income for our loved ones if we're not here anymore. And if you don't have any loved ones yet, then you probably need it for your future loved ones if you ever plan to have a family and people that you need to provide for if you're not here anymore. But the big question is, how much do I need? So we're going to talk about that today. I'm also going to give you a pro tip about when you're choosing life insurance policies and the amounts and all that stuff. Something that a lot of people don't really think about or realize they can do. The first method that we're going to go over today is the multiple of income method. Basically, if you're over the age of 45, you multiply your income by 10. If you are under the age of 45, you multiply your income by 15. And if you're under the age of 30, you probably need to multiply your income by about 20. Those numbers are just a general rule of thumb. You can use you can decide what's best for you when you look at those numbers. If you think it's a big number, if you think it's a little number. But always keep in mind that inflation is something that's going to happen. So what you need today is not what you're going to need 10, 20 years from now. So be sure to think about that when that number seems really big. In 20 years, it's not going to seem all that big. The second method is something that's a little bit more specific to your situation. And that's when we basically take your debts, then we add in the cost of final expenses, and then we take your income and look at how many years you have until retirement and how much that amount is. And then we add all that together and see what that amount is. You can also add in inflation on your income. So you could do your income at a 2% increase each year, or 3% increase, or whatever you think is suitable for your situation. And that's a way to get to a more personalized number that is better suited for your individual situation. Now, a little tip from an agent who's been doing this for 15 years now is that you don't want to always limit yourself to just one type of policy. You can have multiple policies that are multiple types of life insurance. Everybody usually needs some term insurance to cover short-term expenses, but most people also need a permanent lifetime policy, which would be a whole life policy or a universal life policy, something like that, to make sure that you have something there in old age to cover those final expenses when it does happen. And even when you're getting term policies, you don't have to limit yourself to just one time period. You could have a 20-year policy, and you could also have a 10-year policy stacked on top of each other, or even a 10, 20, and 30-year policy all stacked together. Whatever really fits your needs, you can do. So think about it in those terms. Don't just limit yourself to one single policy for one single time period. The third method is just covering final expenses. Some people only want a policy that's going to cover final expenses, just probate cost and a funeral. And that's okay if that's all you can afford or all that you feel you need. So a lot of those are sold. And basically that's very specific to you. How big of a funeral do you want? Do you want something basic or do you want something more extravagant? Usually something in the $20,000 to $50,000 range is suitable for that type of policy. Now, one of the best tips I can give you for choosing the amount of life insurance that you need is get more than you think you need. Like I mentioned earlier, inflation eats up at that amount. and it will be a whole lot less in your eyes in 20 years than it is today. And there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to qualify for a policy 20 years from now if suddenly you have a few kids and feel you need more, or you still have kids in the house and you need more, or you decide to get a big new house and take on a bunch of debt in retirement, which a surprising amount of people are doing these days. And they all feel that they need more, and most of them wish they got a lot more in the past when it was a lot cheaper for them. So my best advice is to get more than you think you need, because it's never going to be less expensive than it is today. So I hope that's helpful. If it was, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. And we'll be doing more videos in the future that cover different amounts for different ages and different types of policies and what's best suited for different life stages. So tune in the future and check out some of our other videos. Thanks for listening and have a great day.